This is Damon Fordham, adjunct professor of history at the Citadel. And this evening, I'm going to talk to you about a major heroine who born and grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, Miss Septima Poinsette Clark, who was born in 1898, right in Charleston. And she graduated from the Avery Institute in 1916, and Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, I believe, was her commencement speaker. And she taught for a few years in rural Johns Island, South Carolina, and spent much of her career at what's now called the Sanders Clyde Elementary School over in downtown Charleston. Around 1955 or 56, she was fired from teaching there because of her civil rights activities. So she went on to the Highlander Folk Institute, which was then in Mont Eagle, Tennessee, and taught illiterate black adults how to read and write and register to vote and such. And she went on to work with Martin Luther King as his adult education director, going throughout the South, teaching illiterate black adults how to read, write, do banking, and register to vote and other such things so that they could basically take care of themselves. Well, she would return to Charleston, and in 1981, she sued the state of South Carolina for the unjust lost years of back pay and won and collected before she died on December 15th, 1987. I saw her twice in my youth. In 1978, when I was 14 years old, she came to see Jesse Jackson when he spoke at the city's municipal auditorium. A bunch of us young teenagers were bussed there to see Reverend Jackson, hear him speak. And he introduced Miss Clark from the crowd. And that was the first time I saw her. But then the second time I saw her was profound. It was in 1982, when I was 18 years old. I was watching a parade on Charleston's west side with a young lady from my high school by the name of Veronica Washington. And after the bands and other floats went by and we were enjoying ourselves, a hush came before the crowd. And there was a float with Miss Septima Poinsette Clark sitting on a throne, carrying a queen's staff, wearing a queen's crown and regalia. And the people in that black community, they were slowly following the float and touching the float and going, "Miss Clark, Miss Clark, Miss Clark." They were showing that great lady the respect that she deserved. And that made a great impression upon my 18-year-old mind. Unfortunately, I was not yet in public life, so I didn't get to know her very well, but at least seeing that was one of the seeds that was planted that would inspire me to do things when I grew up to be adult. And if you want to learn more about this, you can read my book, Voices of Black South Carolina, Legend and Legacy, or you can look up her books, Ready from Within, as well as Echo in My Soul, which you can both probably find on one of the sites like eBay on the internet. But with that being said, my name is Damon Fordham, and I hope you've enjoyed the story of Miss Septima Poinsette Clark.